Hola mi gente, Thursday's episode of the podcast. After talking to you about a heavy subject on Monday, disability, I wanted to talk to you about the most consequential, the most consequential um African politician of the last 25 years, Paul Kagame. Yeah, I think Paul Kagame is the most consequential politician in Africa of the last 25 years. He got elected in 2000 for the first time. And it's amazing because you feel that he has been president of Rwanda forever because he is a change maker. Paul Kagame is a change maker. Rwanda, when I was young in Cameroon, it was never really a country that you talked about. It was a Belgian colony, and French colonies feel always like we have this French appetitness where you look at Belgian colonies with this sense of, oh, they were colonized by the Belgians, so there's no way they are better. There's no way they can teach us anything. There's no way we can learn anything from them. Paul Kagame is, in my opinion, one of these leaders that is not being talked about deeply enough. I think that with him, there's always this tendency to either say great leader or, oh my God, he's a strong man, human rights, whatever. So either some type of wonder president, an African president who is just magnificent. But the Obama of his generation, I don't think he's an Obama. Or you say, oh, he's the worst. You take the Charles Onana, who's originated from Cameroon, who's one of the most virulent critic of Kagame, who says, all kinds of stuff about the genocide of Rwanda of the 90s. I disagree with Charles Onana. I think that he's missing the point. And I think he's stuck in this obsession that the genocide, there's that something dark in there. Even the way he takes on the subject and the people he discusses this thing with, the people who agree with him, there's a smell that I don't like, and I think that he's missing the point. The person who helped me to think of Kagame is Eddie Mandry. When he invited Kagame to speak at Yale, you know, he invited Kagame to speak at Yale, and there was all type of protest. People were saying human rights, he's jailing his opponents, African strongman. Eddie Mandry, when we talked about that, said to me, no, I invited him because I thought it was unfair to basically say that he doesn't have the right to talk. And Kagame has a viewpoint. He's trying to imitate Lee Kuan Yew, the Singapore founding father of the modern Singapore. He's trying to make Rwanda into Singapore by making a bet that by being a strong man, he can make Rwanda into Singapore. We'll see if he's right. And when I heard that, I was like, huh, it makes sense. Kagame is basically saying, yeah, I'm not gonna follow the European models for Africa. I'm gonna look to Asia and to follow the Singaporean model and to try to be Lee Kuan Yew. No matter what you think of Paul Kagame, the man, you have to at least acknowledge that he's not a madman, that he's not one of those, the typical, when they want to ridicule African leaders, They always talk about, oh, they don't care about the country. Oh, it's blood for blood, sorcery, witchcraft. One of the reasons why I think is Kagame, no matter what you think of him, is worth talking about. He is rehabilitating the idea that even in Africa, politics is politics. There's no way, Niente, that you can get involved in politics and be pure. Nobody has managed to do it. Not even Nelson Mandela on the African continent. Nobody. Nobody. Even in the West, Churchill wasn't pure. Roosevelt wasn't pure. Charles de Gaulle wasn't pure. Obama wasn't pure. We know about the kill list. Nobody is pure. And in Africa, there has always been this tendency to just poo-poo it and to make it seem as though Africans can't do politics. That all they do is tribalism. They can't think straight. That they don't have an ideology. They don't have an idea of how they want their countries to be. All they care about is to steal everything. And there's no method to their madness. This is just to steal. They don't believe in Africa. They don't believe in the country. And I think that no matter, again, what you think of Paul Kagame is self-evident. I think that he believes in something. Sure, you may wonder whether what he believes is right about democracy, fair elections, whatever. But when you see what he did with Rwanda, you may say, no, there are problems. It's a mirage. It's not a miracle. There are problems there. But for me, who remembers where he started, Rwanda was never a country that mattered. It was never even a country that was visible anywhere, not even in Africa. Kagame, after a genocide, has managed to make it visible, has managed to do something with it. Sure, we can disagree about the means, but at least we must acknowledge that he's doing something. There's a record there. It's not like you can just say, oh, no, there's something that is happening here. And there are some results. Of course, the question, as with any type of politician that stays in power for a long time, is the legacy. Is what happens after they're gone. Is it going to crumble or whatever? Of course, that's an open question. But, niente, here, all I'm saying, and I don't know if I'm a fan of, I'm ambivalent, but I'm thinking, what do you want here? What are we really asking African leaders when they are in power to do? Is it possible for them to be pure, to make everybody happy, and not to make mistakes? Is it possible in Africa in 2025 to rule in the way Europeans and Westerners want African to rule, and to make them happy, and to just say, okay, everything is going to be the way you want it to be? I think the only question is the local question. Are things progressing? Of course, miente. I'm too American to say people don't have any rights and that the rule of law doesn't matter. But I also acknowledge that there might be different ways to make a country progress. I think it's no longer possible to just say, as Francis Fukuyama used to say, the end of the history, there's only one way. Democracy open markets. That's it. And I think that what is happening now is what is happening now. And there are so many things I don't agree with Kagame in Rwanda. He's talking with the Trump administration about, bringing illegal migrants to Rwanda, as he did with Boris Johnson and the conservative when they were ruling in the UK. Do I like it? No. But I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to make Rwanda matter. The question, Miente, without taking the Charles Onana viewpoint, which I think is, irrelevant in a way. The question here is it possible for Rwanda to keep it up if other countries around Rwanda, like, Congo, Uganda, all those countries are not also progressing? Is it possible for a small country to change the continent and to make things go forward? Can Paul Kagame change Africa the way he's doing it? Is Rwanda big enough to matter? Can Rwanda matter on the African continent? I don't know. Can the impact that he's having in Rwanda last? And can it spread? I have no idea. It's an open question. And Mianti, on the Rwanda question, on the Paul Kagame question, I don't know. The only thing that I refuse to do is to take the Charles Onana, which I'm open to talk with, but no. I don't want to go to the questioning the genocide and saying, yeah, no. I think that's out of bounds to me. I think that there are other valid criticism that you can make of Paul Kagame in Rwanda and the way he's doing, the way he's ruling Rwanda. But I think that, to be fair, you have at least to acknowledge that he has done something. An example, Miende. When I was at the UN, one of the most professional delegations was always the Rwanda delegation. Always. It's a small thing, but it says a lot. And I think that what was very, very awesome to see is the place that the diaspora in Rwanda had. And that's the thing, Nyande. So if you take out this need for African leaders to be pure and acknowledge, no, this is politics. Kagame has some objective. There's a question about whether the means that he's using are going to work or moral or even, pragmatic enough. He's going to be judged by the results, by his record, history. He's going to judge Paul Kagame. And even with that, as with any leader anywhere else, there's always going to be a dark side. There's always going to be criticism, and they are fair and justified. But my hope is that with African leaders, when they have a record, when they are doing something for the country and they think of their country, and when they have some self-discipline and not just thinking of their belly, that we start failing, judging them as we do any other leader. Obama, in spite of all the hoopla, he got a Nobel Prize his first year. He got a Nobel Prize just for becoming the first African American president. but he had a kill list. And in spite of that, he's still very much beloved, in spite of his fault, because people are like, yeah, it's politics. Politician can be pure. So my hope is that we start accepting politics in Africa is like politics anywhere else. Kagame has a goal. Singapore is trying to be Lee Kuan Yew. Is it going to work? We don't know, but it's very, very interesting that an African leader is turning to Asia as a way to make his country progress. Can it work? Can it inspire other African countries? Let's hope so. But again, feelings here are secondary. What matters is the record and the legacy and whether it lasts or not. I don't think it's even a controversial viewpoint. Paul Kagame is the most consequential African leader of the last 25 years. If you disagree, let me know in the comments or you can write to me. Thank you for watching this episode, Miante. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And I will see you tomorrow for the episode in French and in English. I will see you next Tuesday. On reste ensemble, Miante.